I guess he's doing it.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I can't hear anything. Oh, I don't have my headphones on. Welcome this beautiful Saturday morning. Let's go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could, please mute yourself. I will recite the pledge and you guys can follow along. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Welcome, everyone. So I see we have some guests. So Silvio, welcome. If you could just tell us how you found us.
Yeah, sure. Basically, I just went to Eventbrite and was searching for, basically doing regular search there. So no recommendation. I mean, I know about Toastmasters from previous company, and thought I would give it a try.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
We've got Tammy. Can you tell us how you found us? No, you're going to be shy? Okay. And then we also have Daria, who you are actually a Toastmaster?
Yes, I'm a Toastmaster of nearly 4 months.
Okay.
And
Well,
I'm from Barbados, and the name of my club is Sunjet Toastmasters.
Sanjay. Okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So with that, I will hand it off to our Toastmaster of the day, Kirma.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today we have eventful speeches and everything for it's all packed in. And for people not familiar with our club, we have a lot of roles set. Everyone has signed up so that all these roles have meaning and purpose, so that you have a chance to speak as well as to have a role in the club in terms of leadership, ability to speak, and that and we're going to introduce each meeting role so that everyone understands what it is. The first person that I'm going to be calling up is the topics master, John.
John, real quick, before you speak, for our guests, I failed to mention this, but our meeting typically consists of 3 parts. So first is prepared speeches. Those are people who are giving speeches to meet their educational goals. There's table topics, which is impromptu speaking. The topics master will generate a topic and you can just speak off the cuff for 1 to 2 minutes. And then there's evaluations, in which we have designated evaluators for those prepared speeches, and they will give some feedback on those. So just a little breakdown of how our meetings typically run. And is that the agenda for today is in the chat if you want to follow along. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Good. Take it away, John.
No problem. Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Kidama. I will be the topics master today. I am going to lead the session on impromptu speaking. We all work in Toastmasters to work on our prepared speeches and memorizing and presenting, but this is a chance to speak off the cuff. I'll ask a question. You have 1 to 2 minutes to answer, and that's it. Today's theme, I have developed a theme for today's topic, and it's going to be Halloween because this is October now. We're in the greatest month of the year. It's my favorite month. I got married in this month, and my birthday is this month. And it's a nice month where it's nice and cool and nice and warm at the same time. So just be prepared for Halloween topics today. This is Toastmaster today.
Thank you, John, for that. And yes, the weather has changed a little bit and nice and cool. And as we go on to different seasons, I really miss seeing a lot of you guys in person. And so hopefully we'll again meet up soon. But in the meanwhile, we have each other every Saturday or every other Saturday to continue on being with each other on a regular basis. So the next person I would like to introduce is our general evaluator, who will then introduce her team of evaluators. Michelle.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests to this early Saturday morning. My role today is to be the general evaluator, and I will be calling on reports at the end of this meeting by the speech evaluators, the timer, the grammarian, and the AHA counter. And at the end, I will comment on the general overall quality of the meeting and how it ran. My evaluators for today will be Sean, who is evaluating John. Can I get a head nod if that's correct? Maybe somebody? John, are you speaking today?
Yes.
Okay.
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 Yes, I'm speaking and he is
Our
speaking.
second
I'm evaluating.
evaluator, Earl, is going to be evaluating Sahani. And our third evaluator is Brandon, who will be evaluating Jess. And with that being said, I'm a little slow this morning.
We have an
I'd like
additional
to, what?
Tyler.
We have an additional speaker.
Oh, that's
Daria.
right. Daria. Who's going to evaluate Daria?
Don't be shy.
John. John, I'm going to send you an email with her evaluation sheet on it so you can use that during your evaluation.
Okay. Now that we have the evaluators and speakers all lined up, I will pass it over to my first helper of the day, Sahani, and she will let us know what her role is and what she's going to do.
Good morning, everyone. And Madam Toastmaster and Madam Evaluator, thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, or thoughts. As grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is resonance, which is a noun that means the quality in sound of being deep, full, and reverberating, or the ability to evoke or suggest images, memories, or emotions. So an example of this word used is the single note plucked from the guitar strings resonated throughout the room, creating a crescendo of sound. Or if you use the second meaning, the speaker's stories created emotional resonance with the audience that nodded their heads in agreement. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you for that, Sahani. The next helper I will call upon is Tyler, who is the AHA Listen Up count person for today.
Hello, I am Tyler, and I will be the counter and listen up person for the meeting today. My role will be to count all of the filler words that people normally use in their speeches, things like things that are used as a crutch for people to feel more comfortable with their speaking. In Toastmasters, we try and reduce those things so you have powerful pauses. My second role is as the listen up. I will be listening to all the speeches, and at the end of the meeting, I will have a little quiz session to see if everybody was paying attention and quiz you on specific details that were given during the speaker's speeches. That will be my role today. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Tyler. Next, my next assistant up is Sean, and he is going to tell us what the role is for him as the timer today.
Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer, I will time the table topics, speakers, the formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green card, yellow card, and red card. Table topic speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. A minute 30, the yellow card. 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times. Icebreakers should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, green, 5 minutes, yellow, 6 minutes, red. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, the yellow card. At 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. The individual evaluations should be between 2 and 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. 2.5 minutes, the yellow card. At 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for that, Sean. And my last helper today will be Brandon. He's a vote counter, so he will tell us what his role entails.
Yes, thank you and good morning, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the vote counter, it is my responsibility to distribute the ballots for the prepared speeches, best table topics, and the best evaluator. I'll do so via email following the evaluations, and I will announce the best of in all 3 of those categories when called upon at the end of our meeting. Thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, everyone. Those are my teammates for the evaluation portion of this meeting, and I'd like to turn it back to Toastmaster Boss Lady of the Day, Kidema. Back to you, Kidema.
Thank you for that introduction for everyone. And those are the roles that we each have during these meetings. A chance for everyone to come up and speak and to have different roles throughout the meeting. I wanted to, I'm sorry, before we go on, I needed can someone send me the introduction page for Daria's speech? If someone has it. Daria, if you have it, please. Second part, before we move on to the meeting, I'd like to say, if you are not speaking, please be on mute. I think if someone's going off right here, I'm just going to mute everyone for a second. Can everyone still hear me? Okay, so now we're moving on to the part of our meeting where there are prepared speeches. Usually people work very hard to write these speeches, memorize it, and speak in front of everyone. And a lot of times these speeches resonate for us because it touches upon our feelings, and there's very deep, meaningful speeches. So I always find it a treat, in particular, for everyone's speeches is very, very great. So the first speech we have for today is going to be given by John, who's on Motivational Strategies Pathway. The project title and number is Level 3, Elective 3, Using Presentation Software. His speech title is Moments of Truth, and the time range is approximately 5 to 7 minutes. John is approaching his 3rd year as a member of Toastmasters. He is a member of PG Articulators, where he serves as Vice President of Membership, and is a charter member of 5 Rings Financial and Friends, where he serves as VP of Education and Treasurer. John is also serving as the Public Relations Manager for District 66 for the 2020 to 2021 year. John, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Kidema. The Moments of Truth is a club excellence standards evaluation that is performed in the clubs to help them improve or take a look at how their clubs are providing. And using presentation software, using PowerPoint, I'm going to go over how this is working. Now, this program was developed for years and years, and now it's changed because it has all gone to online meetings. So I named this Moments of Zoom, starting from scratch, club quality standards in the time of COVID. So the introduction, the norms have changed. We used to meet in person. Now we're meeting on the computer. Can everybody see the presentation? I can't look at both at the same time. Thumbs ups? Okay, good. Just want to make sure. For safety purposes, we all want to be safe, so we are not allowed to meet in public. our whole meeting has changed because public speaking is no longer public speaking. It's speaking into a little square box on our computer. So in order to move forward, we have to adapt, adopt, and improve. So first we have to adopt the moments of change, moments of truth program. The moments of truth involves first impressions. Everyone remembers their first time walking into a meeting at TCC or their club, their individual club where they went. Usually there's guest books laid out, there's programs, there's agendas, there's guest folders, and there's people milling around trying to get the meeting set before it goes on. Then the guests are greeted warmly with a handshake and how are you doing, and then sat with the members so they can kind of guide them through the meeting. And that's all stopped because we're now meeting online. That personal connection is gone. Then we had the member orientation where we could sit with the member and go through the new pathways program that's on the computer and move them through the program, where we're struggling now with some of these situations because we are online. Fellowship, variety, and communication. The fellowship was a big part of Toastmasters, where you met with people once a week, twice a month, and we interacted with each other, looked in each other's eyes and spoke. And we had a variety of speeches. Everybody has a different background, a different history, and we learned from those folks. Planning and organizing the meeting. We could sit together and plan the meeting, organize it into an agenda, and then execute it the next time we met. Membership strength. 20 members is the minimum member for Toastmasters. And that's so we don't burn out covering the same roles every week, whether we're speaking or whether we're just participating as a player in the game, like a timer, grammarian, word master. Then achievement recognition. We could hand documents to each other. Best speaker of the day, best table topics master. When you get your level 1, you get a certificate. And now it's all gone virtual where we get PDFs we can print ourselves. And now we're in quarantine. Everything has changed. First impression, how do we welcome a guest into a guest online environment? We can ask them, where they're from, how they found us, but we need to work on how to better warmly welcome them like we did when we're in person. Member orientation, we welcome the new members and then we bring them in, but we still can't have that physical connection. So we have to do maybe offline meetings aside from our meeting in order to present that information to them, to guide them through pathways, as that's an online community as well. Having taken the payments has changed. We can't just hand a check or walk up to the computer in the front of our meeting room and sign in anymore. So that has become a struggle to some extent. Club meeting roles. How do we convey the meeting roles and how have they changed? The timer now, every person who serves as timer has a different way to communicate the time for them. We used to have a standard light set or a standard set of cards. Now every meeting, every timer is different. And we need to work on setting goals with each other. This, again, is an offline meeting or a phone call in order to find out, because we're trying to keep our meetings in the constraints of the time we meet in. The fellowshipping of variety and communication. Greeting the guests, it's just not the same as meeting online. And so we have to, in person. So we have to work to make those things work better. We have to have well-executed meetings. This takes a lot more planning because we can't mill around the room together anymore to make sure the meeting comes together at 10 o'clock or whatever starting time your meeting starts. We have to help everybody see the bigger picture. When we're all meeting online, I feel like there's a miscommunication that Toastmasters is bigger than just your club. There's an area, a division, and a district out there with tons of people, and then there's an entire world that's out there right now. And right now, because we're online, we have access to all those people at any time of the day. We can meet 7 days a week in meetings all over the world if we felt like it. We have to make sure every member's needs are met. Just because you come to Toastmasters doesn't mean you're getting out of it what you could get out of it. So we need to have that mentorship where we make sure every member's needs are met, whether they just want to be a better communicator or they're involved in leadership, or if they want to be a professional paid public speaker. So we have to have great meetings every time. That will help people meet their needs. Every meeting should be a plan on an agenda. And this gets tough in the world of COVID because we have to communicate offline to get these things done instead of, like I said, milling around to get before the meeting to get it ready. We have to conduct the meeting inside the time allotted, and we have to be prepared for the speech or role. And part of that preparation is having a plan B. If you plan to do a PowerPoint presentation, it can all fall apart with computers not working, internet going out. You have to have a plan B. The one thing about Toastmasters too is always ask for help. If you don't know how to do something or what to do, ask for help. We're all here to help. And then I had this abbreviated as fear first, then it's changing. But everybody has fear of public speaking, walking up in front of people giving a presentation. But fear can also mean face everything and rise. We're not here to ridicule. We're here to enhance your professional development. And that's how we can move forward. So never be afraid of failing in front of Toastmasters because we're only going to encourage you. So why is membership so important? DCP, and that is Distinguished Club Program. Part of having a distinguished club is having a club that develops itself, that moves through its levels, that has 20 people, a minimum. That makes the club diverse. There's strength in numbers. You don't have to repeat the roles every week. We're not just exchanging roles. People are holding different roles every week, and that's a key to success. It helps you train your replacement if you're an officer. If you're the president, you should be training the next president throughout the year so they can take over without any lag time. Then we need to have quality meetings to keep people there, to keep the retention so that everybody's needs are being met. And then for achievement. So we need to level up. Pathways has 5 levels for every path. And I've made a little acronym for this to remind everybody. So the L will be for lessons learned. As a personal member, you learn from your failures, you learn from your successes. E would be for education goals met. This helps the club reach DCP. A variety of speakers. We all have a different background. We all bring different stories into the club. We all have different levels of comfort speaking. And that way we can help each other by having a variety of speakers. Effective evaluations help everybody grow, not just the speaker that gave the speech, but everybody in the club can take something from those evaluations. Leadership development. It's right in the name where leaders are made. Part of Toastmasters. Unlimited growth. You don't sit in a class for 6 months and listen to us. You can get whatever you want out of it. And right now, in the time of COVID, you can go anywhere in the world and get more growth and more speeches than you could possibly get before in person. And then President's Distinguished. All these steps and level up lead to the club being President's Distinguished. So we've gone from in person to in pajamas. We don't have to get dressed up to go to the meetings anymore. Our venue is this computer. The handshake, I think, is the biggest loss in meeting in COVID, that we don't have that personal connection when we're training the lectern for each other. And the roles have changed. Everybody has to learn the roles individually instead of being assisted in the meeting. Eye contact, it's a tough transition to just look at this little screen rather than meeting people's eyes all around the room. Gestures, you have to gesture up here instead of down up to the side because you lose everything. And then distractions, the things behind people, the pets coming through, your kids running across the room, those are all subjects we didn't have to deal with before. Then we have to improve. There's no more travel for meetings or trainings. It's a great improvement in Toastmasters, I think, has happened. We can go to meetings from around the world. We have online Zoom skills now. We have environmental awareness of what's behind us. We learn to read lips when people don't unmute themselves. And we learn virtual presentation skills, such as I'm doing today. We have expanded roles for clubs and districts. We didn't have a Zoom master 12 months ago. We never thought we would have had one. And now we have an entire Zoom team for our district. We have enhanced and more frequent training because we don't have to travel for that. And basically, when a crisis arises, leaders emerge. Since we went from a meeting in March 7th to a contest, the next one we completely virtual in 2 weeks, all because we made the plans to continue our personal growth. And we select Toastmasters for various roles to take these leads. And we can invite high-level representatives to visit our roles. The district director couldn't visit every meeting every day before, but now with being online, we can do that. And we have to have a guest sign a guest book. That's a tough improvement. So now we put it in the chat to make sure we capture that information so we can reach out to them again. Basically, do or do not. There is no try. Yoda. We took the steps to. We could have just closed Toastmasters groups and stopped because it was going to be too hard to switch to virtual. But we've gone ahead and thrived, and I think that's been a real challenge. And I think we've succeeded at it. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, John, for that very well-prepared speech. It was, it also kind of reminded me or made me sad about, it brought up times where I remembered, oh yeah, that's what we used to do. And then I remembered, oh, this is our new normal now, which, good or bad, it is something that we're all facing together. And your speech definitely, not just applicable to what's going on with Toastmasters, but things that are going on with our jobs and all the professional associations that maybe each one of us are a part of. The next speaker I'm going to be introducing is Sahani, and the pathway that she's on is motivational strategies. Her project number entitles Level 2, Project 1, Understanding Communication Styles. Her speech title is, "What You Talking About, Willis?" And it is about communication styles and understanding how your style impacts interactions with others. Take it away, Sahani. Thank you.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. What you talking about, Willis? That was Gary Coleman's infamous tagline in A Different Strokes. I used to love watching this show as part of my cultural immersion as a child. But as I got older and attempted to have more meaningful conversations, I found myself going, what you talking about? By a show of hands, how many of us have had to take some kind of course on communication? Right? In almost every phase of our education or career, I've inevitably had to take a course on communication. In elementary school, it was how to speak nicely. In high school, it was how to speak without ebonics, because as I was told, I spoke real hood for someone that didn't look hood and didn't want to stay in the hood. In college, it was how to sound professional, also known as how to sound Harvard to land your dream job. In medical school, it was how to speak using medical terminology. After 24 years of education, in my first few months as a newlywed and a new practitioner, I realized that I had stopped making sense, and I didn't know what I was talking about. But much to my chagrin, communication was the key to success, both in my personal and my professional life. My explanation of plantar fasciitis is the chronic repetitive trauma and building of inflammatory cytokines that resulted in a self-perpetuating inflammatory pain cycle that needed to be interrupted with concerted efforts of multiple modalities of rest, topical and oral anti-inflammatories, therapeutic exercises, and corrective devices had my patients looking at me with the same bemused expressions you all are looking at me with right now. To add to this frustration, my sweet, loving husband would incessantly tell me how much he loved me, instead of taking out the festering, putrid-smelling monster of a garbage can in our kitchen. I was doing a lot of talking, but none of it was effective. And my directness in expressing my frustration, well, that, however, was very clear to the addressee and often resulted in a lot of ruffled feathers. There's been a great deal written on communication, and this module also had a lot of great pointers on communication. But the truth is, communication without emotional intelligence and awareness is profoundly ineffective at getting your ideas across and creating resonance or buy-in. When we read a book or hear a song or watch a movie that moves us to emote, now that's successful communication. The author didn't add a line in the book that said, Laugh here, ha ha ha. The song didn't have a lyric that said, mellow out here. And the movie definitely didn't have a subtitle that said, cry here. But unbeknownst to us, there we are, fully immersed and engaged and emoting as we were intended to do. What sorcery is this? Well, it's not sorcery, but it is a little bit of psychology, as Daniel Goleman in his famous book, Emotional Intelligence, expounded. Goleman describes emotional intelligence as the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and those of the people around you. There's 5 key elements to self-awareness. There's 5 key elements. The first one is self-awareness. Check. I'm here in front of a computer, giving a talk uncomfortably, trying to look cool. Number 2, self-regulation. Stay cool, man. Number 3, motivation. These are not the droids you're looking for, or something like that. Number 4, empathy. Ugh. You mean I have to actually care about how you feel and to be responsive to it? Ugh. And number 5, social skills. Yeah, I got skills, baby. Wait, no, I have no idea. What does that mean? And this book, along with a very interesting business conference led by Danny Johnson, was the beginning of my real education on communication. Oh, who's Danny Johnson? Well, she's a bodaciously boobalicious blonde and a millionaire that was featured on ABC's Secret Millionaire, that was leading a business seminar called First Steps to Success. I had begrudgingly gone at my husband's coaxing, but found myself immediately interested and engaged by a self-professed high school dropout strung out on drugs with $2 and change to her name. She went on to talk about how she built a business from the ashes of her life, not because of what she sold, but because of how she sold it. And as she challenged us, what did we have to lose by implementing? After all, she was a millionaire and we probably were not. Ouch. So I returned to my practice on Monday morning and started with simple things like noticing the color of my patient's eyes, also known as eye contact. Apparently, I avoid this like the plague when I'm nervous. Then I stopped talking because apparently communication is a two-way road. I listened to so many painful tangents in those early days. I imagined sticking hot pokers in my eyes to relieve my discomfort as I writhed in silence. But what I heard when I finally listened was invaluable. My patients and my loved ones told me the secrets to control their minds. I mean, create resonance. So instead of my prior medically accurate and verbose explanation of plantar fasciitis, I described heel pain as something I had experienced as well. It sucked. And it's like a speeding train that gains momentum with every step until you just can't walk anymore. And if you want that speeding train of pain and inflammation to stop, you have to throw everything at it all at once. I used hand gestures. I felt like a foolish mime at first. I got up and demonstrated the exercises myself and had them join me in stretching breaks. And before I knew it, I was getting patients better and getting referrals from past clients. I guess Blondie really did know what she was talking about. So I went back to the seminar next year, notepad in hand and more open to learn. As far as my husband and the trash, well, sometimes you have to take a holistic approach to understanding various communication styles, love languages, gestures, and nonverbal cues. And sometimes you just have to be more direct and say, "That's nice, now take the damn trash out, please." I'm still learning a great deal on communication daily, but at this stage, I've come to realize that looking inward, dying to one's ego, and adjusting one's own sails are the first steps in creating resonance and effective communication. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Sahani. Great speech. I'm loving all the Star Wars reference, since I'm a Star Wars nerd, since a couple of speeches already on that. And definitely communication is very, very important. Can't go anywhere in this world without being able to talk to other people. Ali Sahani, as a dentist, some of the references that I use for dental pain is foot pain, which is, they're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? I thought you were talking about my teeth. But anyway, just for interest, because I think people can relate to teeth, foot pain. Anyway, the next speaker we have is Jess. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes long, and the title is Mentor, Mentee, Mentorific, Mentorable. And this speech is about a time when she was a protege. Jess, you're on. Thank you.
Fantastic. Can everybody hear me? Beautiful. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing other people. CEO and executive Jack Welch said that, and it rings very true with me. Mentorship can be a collateral duty for many people in a leadership position as they advance through their career. And I feel very strongly that great leadership, even acceptable leadership, cannot be realized without an absolute passion for mentoring. If you are not aflame with eagerness to see your people grow, you are not a leader. You're a supervisor. And it's important to know the difference because you have the future of other people in your hands. They may take very different paths in their careers based on the quality of mentorship that they get from you and based on the quality of the support that they get from you. Proteges may not have the experience to recognize or the tenacity to overcome suboptimal mentorship when they get it. Therefore, a passion for developing others and cultivating an environment in which people can flourish is absolutely vital to leadership. I believe it's important to have many mentors. Some people will be more engaged with you. Some people will have more time to spend with you. And all of them will have different perspectives of you because they know you differently. So the more diversity that you have in your mentorship, the more diversity you're going to have in your personal growth and the more well-rounded you're going to become. I'm going to talk about two experiences that I have had as a protege. One of the best and one of the worst. My first mentor that I'll speak about was absolutely amazing. She is still a mentor and a dear friend of mine. The second mentor was a character builder. I still learned a great deal from both of them, however. So my first mentor I met because I signed up to become a facilitator for a program that she was spearheading. We bonded over this experience, mostly because I was one of the only people that consistently volunteered for the facilitation gig. And I found her to be very driven, very knowledgeable, very free with information. And she had an utter lack of ego that I found extremely humbling. My experience with that particular mentor was both formal and informal. There were times when I could reach out to that mentor and say, I need to meet with you about a question or a challenge that I'm having with my job or with life. And we would arrange a meeting, we would sit down, I would have questions written out, and she would have answers when I gave them to her, or when I gave those questions to her. Other times, we would be having lunch and just talking, shooting the breeze, and she would gently provide guidance and listen and provide her own perspective. Her guidance always came in the form of support. Even if she didn't agree with the choices that I was making, she was still supportive and told me that she was confident that I would be successful no matter what. She was a natural mentor. And whenever I interacted with this person, I walked away with positive feelings. I either felt inspired, re-energized, or as if someone had at least witnessed what I was going through. Because that's important to have in a mentor, is someone who bears witness to your successes as well as your stumbles and can provide support throughout all of that. My second mentor was assigned to me as a part of a leadership development group. I don't know if this person had a leadership bone in their body, but they were a tremendous helper. This person's communication style was, you ask me a question and I'll answer it. So it was very difficult as a protege, not knowing what I didn't know, to be expected to come to a person with my questions so that they could then provide me with resources. She was not direct at all. As a matter of fact, it seemed as if this person was allergic to candor, and I am a radically candid person. So there was a bit of a disconnect there. Another huge issue with this mentorship relationship was the fact that she did not value our time together. She was in a position of leadership, so our meetings would be constantly rescheduled, even though I worked really hard to make sure that our meetings happen at times that were good for her. However, she would often be late, not show up at all, and leave me sitting outside her office for hours, answer the phone while we were speaking, and leave her office door wide open so that people felt the need or the ability to walk in and interrupt our meetings. To which I responded in a semi-petty fashion by shooting daggers at whoever walked in the door. At some point, I actually spoke to my mentor about this and told her that it made me feel as if she didn't value our time. And she apologized, but it didn't really make a difference. And eventually I figured out that this mentorship was happening because it was an expectation of her as a part of her position. She had absolutely no investment in my development. So I still speak with this person to this day, but generally it's her asking me for something. However, that relationship did teach me some important lessons about leadership. For one thing, it taught me that in order to be an effective leader, you can't be black and white about everything. You have to be willing to color outside the lines every once in a while. It also taught me the importance of, when I became a mentor, setting aside that time and letting my protege know that our time together is protected. Ultimately, both of these experiences taught me a lot, and they still do. What I would like to submit to you all, fellow Toastmasters and guests, are these thoughts. As a protege, it is your responsibility to glean what you can from a mentorship relationship, regardless of whether or not your mentor actually knows what they're doing or maybe needs a little bit of guidance. You can still learn something, even from a mentorship relationship that is not as fulfilling as you hoped it would be. And for mentors, I challenge you to be brutally honest with yourself and ask yourself what your goal is in being a mentor, and whether or not you're truly invested in the people that you're mentoring, because you can have a profound impact on the life of your protege. What you say and the amount of dedication you give to your proteges may inspire them to become a great leader to other people, or it may cause them to give up because they have no support and nobody cares either way what happens. So I challenge you to keep these in mind as we move along, because mentorship is going to be a part of all of our lives at Toastmasters. The best way to gain power for yourself is to give it away to other people. And the best way to gain learning and knowledge for yourself is to bestow it upon other people. So being a mentor can be just as rewarding for you as it is for your protege. And that relationship creates a resonance that can last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Great speech. It's definitely something that we can all use very helpful for mentors and proteges to continue to apply to our lives every day, because that's something that is applicable. And I just want to send a shout out to my mentor, Michelle, Toastmaster. Anyway, the next speech that we have is from Daria, and she has been a Toastmaster for 3 months, and she has a voracious appetite for living, appreciating the brilliance and beauty of life. She enjoys flying, driving, riding on big, long, empty roads in the countryside, dancing under the stars on a Friday night, and sailing on a cloudless blue day. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes long. And I'm sorry, I don't have the title of your speech, but if you could just briefly say that right before. Daria, it's your turn. Thank you.
Daria, Don't Do It is the name of the speech. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, you can hear me? Oh? Yes, everyone can hear me. Okay. There are 2 women, Toastmasters, who, had it not been for them and their phenomenal presence, I would have been lost forever. Carmita Fraser and Miss Chandler. The first, Carmita Fraser, lived and breathed and died by the adage, the 4 words that defined her. Barbados, grow what you eat. A simple statement, so profound in its essence that most Barbadians heard her with one ear and discarded with another. She told Barbadians that whatever they grew was healthier than whatever they could buy. She told Barbadians that whatever they grew would be of a better quality than anything they could buy. She told Barbadians that whatever they grew would be much cheaper for both themselves and the country. She told Barbadians that the long-term projection, importing on the scales that we do, could not be sustained. Ooh, and Carmita was so right. But it wasn't this that had her famed for me. My mom used to work at the National Nutrition Center. And it was there that I would secret myself after school in a corner somewhere. I'd pretend to be doing homework, all the while awaiting the arrival of Auntie Carmita. She'd stealthily turn that corner. I would start giggling before her foot dawned the pavement. Don't do it, Daria. I would watch her walk from her car across the parking lot, greeting everyone in her way, up the stingy, slow winding stairwell and through the corridor. My body, perpendicular in an angle it should not have been, craning out the door to see her approach. Everyone thought I was always so happy to see her. I never said what it was that amused me so. I think only Miss Fraser and I knew. For I never looked at her. Only her bouncing bosoms held my attention in the always most extravagant of necklines. There was no one fat in my family, no one top heavy, as they say. I found those 2 balls of mammary so incredibly funny that I simply could not get enough. When my mom finally caught on, she would say, Daria, be careful. Fate is a funnier thing than the joke you have at this moment. Don't do it, Daria. Sadly, there was no respite to my comedy. At school, my jocular nature held full sway in the person of Miss Chandler. This extraordinary ex-foundation of English literature stood all of 5 feet tall. Most of her stature, however, stood pert at attention above her navel. We wicked adolescent wenches wondered how she never toppled over. No end of fun was had at the expense of those buoyant balls of adipose. They didn't interfere with the wonderful works of English literature she exposed our fascinated minds to, however. Shakespeare, Frost, Eliot and Keats, Dickinson, Whitman, Hughes and Yeats, Byron, Wordsworth, Blake and Tennyson, all while seated. When she got up, guided by the laser point of her breast's directional knowledge, even the chalk let out a whimper. One day, Miss Chandler fell, tripped down the stairs. The whole school leapt to her assistance. As the ambulance came, every eye wept, wondering whether our beloved Miss Chandler would be okay. She was, and we had the missiles back, everything back to normal as we each day awaited our bosom full of English literature. It didn't take the gods of fate long to exact their revenge. Each peal of laughter was avenged when I journeyed into Martindale's department store to purchase my first bra. As they fitted me, "Pull your girls up," they cajoled. "Jockey one in at a time, and I'll pull," said another. "Make sure the sides are in," said another. I left the store with my bag of bras, dazed by the jarring experience. I sat with my bras in hand, shocked by their size. Yes, but with the laughter, the derision of my adolescent self coming back, slapping me all over my face. I spotted my volleyballs in the corner and they fitted the bras comfortably. Astounded, I swore I didn't understand how I'd become Carmita Fraser and Miss Chandler. Sharing the story with my mother, she set it out clearly. "Well, my dear," she said, trying hard to disguise her laughter, "I told you so. The gods of fate, they exact their revenge." Toastmasters, visitors all, please, please do refrain from laughing at anyone at all. Fate holds no prisoners. Madam Toastmaster?
Thank you, Daria. Very, very funny speech that was quite descriptive and definitely brought some visuals to my eyes. Anyway, does anybody need a break before we move on to the next part of our meeting?
Yeah, if we could take, say, 5 minutes,
Sure.
that'd be good.
So let's meet up again at 11 a.m. Thank you.
All right.
Jess, I want you to do your speech at my club on Thursday evening.
Me? Okay.
Don't be shy.
Sure.
Can you send us the email link so we all have the opportunity to be a guest?
Absolutely. That would be wonderful.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Get ready, Jess. Make sure you're wearing a bra this time. You're on mute. You can say whatever you want. We don't hear you.
We don't need no bra.
Yes. My husband just yelled, "We don't need no bras."
We heard it. Put yourself on mute. I'm so glad I came.
This is what I live with, okay? Daria, does your club, since we're like at our kind of leisure time, can you tell us, does your club meet every week or once a month, or what's the story?
Yeah, my club meets on Thursday evenings at on Eastern time at 6 p.m.
How long does it usually last?
An hour and a bit, an hour and a half max.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can. Do you guys have a Facebook page?
Yeah, yes, I believe so. Let me put everything.
Let's see if how do you spell your club? It's Sun.
SUNJET.
Right there, Sunjet Toastmasters.
Yep.
Silvio, are you part of a Toastmasters club right now?
No. Just
Oh, okay.
first time.
Okay.
I'm kind of like on the side reading up how to register and like trying to figure out like what is available for my company, etc.
John, the one who gave the speech that included a PowerPoint, he's in charge of our membership, so I'm sure he'd be happy to give you some information if you need that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Did you say you're looking for your company or just for you?
Just for me for now.
Okay,
I was
gotcha.
checking if my company already offers something or not.
Right. Where are you located?
Prague, Czech Republic.
Wow. Okay, great.
But I guess with current situation, it hardly matters.
That's correct. Yeah, that's great.
So not to be funny, but what time is it there?
5 p.m.
Oh, okay. So this time of our meeting isn't too bad for you because it's the morning here and it's not really nighttime there. That's cool.
Yeah, it works out quite nice, yeah.
Okay, I think almost everyone's back. We're going to go ahead and continue on with our meeting. The next part of our meeting is the part where we all get to have a little bit of time to come up and speak off the cuff. And the person who is going to be coming up with the topics today is John. You're up as topic master. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. As I said before, it's October and we're heading towards Halloween, so I made a Halloween themed set of questions for today. Anyone like to volunteer to be the first victim? Volunteer for today?
Brandon will.
So that's Brandon? All right. So Brandon, tell me, what is your favorite scary or book? Favorite scary movie or book?